You know when you sent in that article all about Planet Nine?
I gotta say, it really got me thinking. There's just something about the unknown, especially when it's right here in our solar system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tantalizing, isn't it?
Totally. So, Planet Nine, for anyone who hasn't heard of it, it's this hypothetical planet way out there, even past Pluto, and we haven't actually seen it directly. But astronomers think it might be there because of how it seems to be messing with the orbits of other stuff out in the far reaches of the solar system.
Like a ghost tugging on things we can see.
Exactly. It all began when astronomers noticed some of the objects in the outer solar system were acting a little strange. And I'm not just talking about them being crazy far away, although that's pretty wild on its own. The real head scratcher was how their orbits were all bunched together, like in a way that seemed,
Yeah.
well, too unlikely to just be random chance. Right, it's a pattern that begs for an explanation.
Exactly. And we're talking about objects like Sedna and 2012 VP-113. Those names always sound so cool.
They do have a ring to them.
But the point is, these aren't just any old space rocks drifting along. Their orbits are weirdly similar. They line up in a way that just made astronomers go, something's up.
And that's where this idea of gravitational shepherding comes into play. Picture Planet Nine's gravity like an invisible hand, sort of nudging these objects into similar paths over time.
Okay, so Planet Nine, this big invisible thing, could be acting like a cosmic shepherd, herding these smaller objects into these strange orbits.
Exactly.
Wild.
And to have that kind of influence, astronomers figure Planet Nine would have to be pretty hefty, maybe 5 to 10 times the mass of Earth.
Whoa,
Yeah, to put that in perspective, that's way bigger than our own planet.
that's huge.
And because it'd be so far from the sun, its orbit is thought to take somewhere between 10,000 to 20,000 years.
Oh, wow. Talk about taking the long way around.
Right.
So we're talking some serious cosmic real estate out there.
Yeah.
But it's not just how these far-out objects are clustered together, is it? There are other weird things about their orbits that Planet Nine might explain.
There's actually an even weirder thing. It's not just that they're bunched together in this odd way. Some objects are totally doing their own thing. Their orbits are tilted almost at a right angle, like 90 degrees compared to everything else.
So hold on. It's not just that they're clustered together, but some of them are like orbiting on their sides.
Yeah, it's like they're ignoring the main plane of the solar system.
Wow, that's even more bizarre.
And what's really interesting is that this Planet Nine idea could explain that too. It's all about gravity over really long periods of time, like billions of years. So you've got Planet Nine, this massive object, and its gravity would affect things. And then you've got the other giant planets we know about, Jupiter, Saturn, those big guys. And over time, all that gravity interacting, it could have scattered some objects into these wacky tilted orbits.
So it's kind of like a game of cosmic pinball.
You could think of it that way, yeah.
Wild. Okay, so we've got this one idea, Planet Nine, and it seems to explain a lot of what we're seeing out there.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's really there, why haven't we actually, seen it yet? And I've heard some astronomers aren't so sure about the whole thing.
Right. It's important to remember that for now, it's still just a hypothesis. And there are definitely other possible explanations for why these orbits look the way they do.
Like what?
Well, some astronomers think maybe the clustering is just a coincidence. Like maybe we just haven't seen enough objects out there yet. And if we saw more, the pattern wouldn't seem so weird anymore.
So it could just be that we need more data.
Exactly. And then there's the fact that our telescopes aren't perfect. They're better at spotting some things than others. So it's possible there are objects with different types of orbits that we just haven't detected yet.
So we might be missing part of the picture
Yeah.
because of how we're looking.
Yeah, it's a limitation we have to keep in mind.
Right. And there was that study, I think it was called the Outer Solar System Origins Survey, or ASOSS for short. Didn't that throw some cold water on the whole Planet Nine idea?
They did find objects with a wider range of orbits than some earlier studies had seen, so it kind of made things a little less clear-cut. But the astronomers who support the Planet Nine idea, they say their math still checks out, even with this new data. They argue that the clustering of those original objects is still too strong to be just random chance.
So they're sticking to their theory.
They are, and they're constantly working to refine their models. They're trying to account for any bias in what our telescopes can see.
That's how science works, right?
Exactly. It's all about testing ideas and seeing what holds up.
And this one is definitely a head scratcher. So let's say for a minute that Planet Nine really is out there. Where do we even start looking for something like that? It's like finding a needle in a cosmic haystack, right?
Mm.
Finding a hypothetical planet in the vastness of our solar system. That sounds like searching for a needle in a cosmic haystack. Where do you even begin to look for something like that?
It's definitely a challenge, but it's not impossible. Think of it this way. We're not just randomly searching the sky. We have a few clues to guide us. For instance, we have a good idea of where Planet Nine shouldn't be based on data from the Cassini spacecraft that orbited Saturn. Its sensitive instruments would have picked up any gravitational anomalies caused by a large nearby object, and based on those readings, we can rule out certain regions of the outer solar system.
Okay, so we can cross a few places off our list, but that still leaves a lot of cosmic territory to cover.
True, but that's where things get even more interesting. We're not just limited to looking for reflected light, which is incredibly faint at those distances. We're also looking for Planet Nine's heat signature.
So even though it's incredibly cold out there in the outer solar system, Planet Nine would still be emitting a tiny amount of heat that we could detect.
Exactly. You see, even though it's billions of years old, Planet Nine is still slowly cooling down from its formation. And that heat, emitted as infrared radiation, could be our best bet for finding it.
I read that astronomers are using some pretty impressive telescopes for this search, like the Subaru telescope in Hawaii.
That's right. Subaru is one of the telescopes equipped with instruments sensitive enough to detect these faint heat signatures. But here's the really exciting part. It's not just professional astronomers who are getting in on the action. There are citizen science projects that allow anyone with a computer and an internet connection to help search for Planet Nine.
Wait, so you're telling me I could potentially discover a planet from my couch?
You absolutely could. Projects like Backyard Worlds and the Catalina Outer Solar System Survey rely on volunteers to sift through images from telescopes, looking for anything that moves or changes in brightness over time. These are tasks that are actually very difficult for computers to do accurately, but the human eye is surprisingly good at spotting subtle patterns and anomalies.
That's amazing. So it's a real team effort with professional and amateur astronomers alike working together to unravel this cosmic mystery.
Precisely. And whether or not Planet Nine turns out to be real, the search itself is pushing the boundaries of our understanding of the outer solar system. We're developing new technologies, refining our models, and quite possibly uncovering hints of other surprises lurking out there in the darkness.
It really makes you wonder what else is out there waiting to be discovered. What other secrets is our solar system hiding?
Those are the questions that keep astronomers up at night, and they're the same questions that drive us to explore. And who knows? Maybe one day, you, our listener, will be the one to provide the answer.
A tantalizing thought to end on. If you're interested in joining the hunt for Planet Nine, be sure to check out the show notes for links to those citizen science projects. And until next time, keep looking up and stay curious.